Pennsylvania Files. Philadelphia built a prison so brutal that Charles Dickens called it torture. And then in 1929, Al Capone moved in.
Oh, good. Tonight's bedtime story is solitary confinement. I'm thrilled.
Eastern State Penitentiary opened in 1829 on what's now Fairmount Avenue in Philadelphia. It was a model for the modern penitentiary, and it was designed by an architect named John Haviland to make solitary confinement a system. 7 single-story cell blocks radiated out from a central rotunda, like spokes on a wagon wheel. One guard at the hub could look straight down every corridor at once.
Wait, he designed a panopticon out of a wagon wheel in 1829? Okay, that's actually kind of brilliant.
Every cell had a skylight they nicknamed the Eye of God. Running water, a flush toilet, central heating. In 1829, that was luxury most Americans didn't have in their own homes. But whenever an inmate left his cell, even for an hour of exercise, they pulled a black hood over his head. So he could never see another prisoner, never learn the layout, never even know where in the building he was.
So the architecture itself was the warden. Quakers really said, let's invent psychological control and call it kindness.
In 1842, Charles Dickens came to Philadelphia. He spent a whole day inside this place, cell to cell. He wrote a chapter in American Notes calling the silent system, quote, cruel and wrong. A slow and daily tampering with the mysteries of the brain. Worse, he said, than any torture of the body.
Imagine being so quietly devastating that Dickens shows up and calls you a war crime.
By the 1850s, it was already breaking people. Reports of insanity, suicide, mental collapse. Pennsylvania quietly abandoned the separate system in 1913, and in 1971 they closed the doors. The prison stood empty for 20 years. A forest grew inside the cell blocks.
Look, solitary confinement breaks people in months. It takes me about a Sunday afternoon and one bad Wi-Fi connection.
Okay, Capone. May 16, 1929. He walks out of a Philadelphia movie theater. 2 detectives stop him. They search him. They find an unlicensed .38 caliber revolver in his pocket. Within 16 hours, Al Capone, who ran Chicago, has pleaded guilty and been sentenced to a year inside Eastern State, his first real stretch behind bars.
16 hours from movie night to Eastern State. Philadelphia really had a workflow.
He served about 8 months on a hallway the inmates called Park Avenue. And in August of that year, the Philadelphia Public Ledger ran a piece describing his cell. Tasteful paintings on the wall, a polished desk, an oriental rug, a cabinet radio receiver. Sophist, the reporter wrote, in the glow of a desk lamp.
A cabinet radio. In 1929. In prison. You know they ran a whole side hustle out of that hallway. Of course they did.
Here's the part that stuck. Other inmates said Capone would scream in the middle of the night, begging someone named Jimmy to leave him alone. Jimmy was allegedly James Clark, brother-in-law of Capone's chief rival, Bugs Moran, and one of 7 men gunned down 3 months earlier in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, on Capone's reputed orders.
Wait, so the guy who ran Chicago is shaking in a Philadelphia cell because his ghost won't shut up? Karma's specific tonight.
One more thing. In 1924, Pennsylvania Governor Gifford Pinchot sent a black Labrador retriever to Eastern State. They processed the dog on August 31st, gave him an inmate number, C2559. Photographed him with the numbered tag around his neck. His name was Pep, and the cat murdering charge the prison says was a joke. He was a morale dog.
They booked a dog? They gave a Labrador a prison number and a mugshot and a joke charge? Okay, best inmate in Eastern State history, hands down.
Eastern State closed its doors in 1971. Now it's a museum. You can walk the corridors yourself, same skylights, same hooded shadows down the long stone halls. The Quakers wanted to invent a system that would reform the soul through silence. Instead, they built a machine that broke the people it was supposed to save. And then somehow, the most feared gangster in America walked in here and was haunted by a ghost. And the only inmate who ever seemed to enjoy his stay was a black Labrador retriever. The truth is out there. Stay tuned.